Hi, okay, so today I'm gonna do an eyeshadow tutorial and I'm gonna use Seint's new shade of the month. It's this one right here. It is this really pretty soft brown shade and it's called Dream. Now, besides these eyeshadows being super pigmented and really high quality, one of my absolute favorite things about them, hands down, is the fact that you can completely customize your own eyeshadow palette. So they have these compacts, they are these magnetic compacts, and all of their eyeshadows are sold individually in these tins, and these tins magnetize to this compact. So that means that you basically get to pick and choose what colors you want for your eyeshadow palette. And the great thing about this is that way, if a shade ends up running out, because you know how you always have those shades that you use the most, and so they get worn down really quickly, and then you have to buy a whole new palette because you still need that shade, even though you have plenty of the other ones. Well, the nice thing about being able to have this customized eyeshadow palette is that when a shade runs out, you can just pop out that individual tin and purchase a new one of that color and leave the rest of them alone, so you don't have to waste a lot of product. And they have a ton of eyeshadow shades to choose from. I'll show you this. It's pretty beat up, so you'll have to kind of ignore that factor. But they have a ton of shades to choose from. So this is kind of like the big mother load palette here. I just bought all these eyeshadows individually and filled it up, but you can see there are tons and tons of shades to choose from. It's probably the hardest part about doing eyeshadow tutorials is trying to figure out which combination I want to go with. Now, I always like to prep my lids with some sort of a primer. I usually just end up using my main highlight shade from my face to do that. And as you can see, it just kind of gives a little bit more of an even tone to the lids, because our lids tend to have veins and capillaries and things that kind of show through. There's some redness. So this just kind of evens out the skin tone there. It also gives the eyeshadow something to kind of grip onto. So that way, it is more pigmented and it'll really make the eyeshadows pop and also just last longer. But because I'm using a highlight shade and it is a cream, I actually like to go in after I have put it on there, and I will just go in with the Vanilla Dust setting powder and just kind of set it into place, and then it's all ready to put eyeshadow on. And in case you haven't noticed, we're gonna have this video accompanied by some noises by the happy baby in the background. Hopefully he stays happy. Okay, so I think this is the combo that I've landed on. So this right here is Dream. This one's kind of our star of the show because it's the shade of the month. And then this one right here, this one's called Soulmate. It's a really soft pink shimmer, but I feel like if you look really closely at Dream, I almost feel like it has a very subtle soft pink undertone. So I thought this would look really pretty together. And then this one right here is Philly, and I'm gonna use this to add a little bit of depth and probably put some of it along my lash line. And this right here is swatches of them. So this one's Soulmate, this one is Dream, and then this one is Philly. So I think these are gonna look super pretty together. So I'm gonna take my eyeshadow brush. I'm gonna use the fluffy end of it, and I say the fluffy end because there's two ends to it. But I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna start in the shade Dream, and I'm just gonna put this into my crease in a windshield wiper motion. So basically I'm just going back and forth, kind of like an arched rainbow. And if you notice, I kind of actually went a little bit above my crease just because I have a little bit of a hooded eye, and if I go above the crease just a little bit, it helps to kind of open up my eye because it doesn't cover up as much of the lid. Some people find it easier to do this if they leave their eyes open, that way they know where to place it. I've just been doing it long enough, I can do it with my eyes closed and I know where I need to place it, but that is where I'm gonna be putting that first shade. And honestly, you could even just finish right here. You could maybe add a more neutral colored eyeshadow there on your lid, like Rome or Chai or Drift or something. But this look alone could easily be finished. And now that I've said that, I kind of want to add some mascara just so you can see this as the finished look and then finish my eyeshadow after, like with the other shades. I don't love doing mascara before the rest of my eyeshadows, but I do want you to see this as a finished look, so we're gonna do that. Hold for a second. So I just threw on some mascara and a little bit of eyeliner in my waterline, and this is what it would look like if you were just to put the shade Dream on your crease. So to me, this is like the perfect everyday neutral palette for the makeup minimalist. But now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna add on the other two shades just so you can see what these look like with Dream. So I'm actually just gonna use my finger and I'm gonna go into the shade Soulmate, and then I am just going to tap this color onto my lid and just kind of disperse that all over that area. And then I'm gonna take my eyeshadow brush, I'm gonna flip it over from the fluffy end to the smaller, more condensed end. I'm gonna tip it into that same shade and I'm just gonna run it along my lower lash line. But now quick intermission for the baby. All the toys he has around him, and I give him a cup, and now he's happy. And this is another place that you could just stop with these two shades. Just having that really soft, light pink shimmer, you can almost see how it pulls out the soft pink undertones of Dream. So this is just a really pretty combination. But now we're just gonna finish off with a little bit of this shade right here. This is called Philly. I'm gonna go in with that smaller, dense end of the eyeshadow brush again, and I'm just gonna very lightly tap it on the very outer corner. I don't want to go on too heavy in the beginning. I'm gonna kind of go on really light and kind of give it a buildable coverage just to add a little bit of more depth and dimension and smoke it out here on the end. And then again, another brief intermission. And now I'm just gonna place a little bit of Philly on the very outer edge of that under eye as well. Okay, so before I finish this eye, I wanted to show you the contrast between these two eyes. So this one, I have smoked out the outer edge with just a darker shade, whereas this one I obviously just left it by itself. And you can see that this one just has a little bit more depth and dimension. There's that extra contrast to it, and it just kind of gives it a nice finished look. But you can definitely go a little bit more minimalist with something like this. Some people even like to do like a day look with something really soft and simple like this, and then they'll add some of that smoked out darker shade in the evening when they're gonna go out that day. So that way they can kind of do that transition from day to night really easily with their makeup. But this one, as you can see, it's subtle enough and it's soft enough that you could totally wear it as an everyday look without it being an issue there either. Okay, so here is the finished look with these three shades. And as you saw throughout the tutorial, I showed you 3 different ways you can technically wear these shades. And I guarantee there's other combinations you could do as well. Like you could even just wear this one by itself. So that's the nice thing, is that there's a lot of versatility when it comes to how you pair the different colors and where and how you wear them. Because even with just 3 shades, you can come up with a variety of different looks. So I will link everything that I used to create this look, but don't forget that this shade right here, this one, Dream, this is the shade that is Seint's limited edition eyeshadow shade for the month of March. So if you want this shade, you need to make sure you purchase it ASAP, because after this month, it'll no longer be available. Now, if you are interested in the rest of the makeup that I use, I will go ahead and include a link where you can submit a photo to me without any makeup on in natural lighting, and then I can color match you to your perfect shades and give you a breakdown of everything that I recommend to get started with. I'm also leaving a link with some information about Seint's artist program, which essentially what that is if you are interested in working as an artist for Seint, if you share the products with friends, family, online, wherever, and those individuals purchase the product from you because of what you shared, you can earn a commission off of those purchases. So if that's something that sounds interesting to you, whether you want to do it as like a side thing or whether you're kind of interested in going a little bit more of like a full-time gig, then definitely be sure to check out the link, get the info about it, and then let's connect, because I would love to chat with you more about it if you think that this is a good fit for you.